Today I'm going to be ranking every single episode of Regular Show Season 4 from worst to best. Season 4 is regarded by many to be the best season in all of Regular Show, and I'm going to find out if that's true, looking at the comedy, the action, the story, every single aspect of every single episode, diving deep into them, analyzing them, and ranking them all from worst to best. And I just want to thank every single one of you for 10,000 subscribers. That is genuinely a number that I never thought I would hit on this channel, so I appreciate all of you. It's been such a grind, so many videos, and no matter where you started watching me, if you're still here and you still love my content, I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. It truly means the world to me. And now I honestly don't even know what to say at the intro of my videos because it's not the road to 10K anymore. So what do I do? I think we shoot for the stars and we shoot all the way to 100,000. Let's shoot for it. Let's just go for it. You know, if I get to 100,000, I'll quit my job and I'll make you a damn video every single day. So if you like regular show, Adventure Time, Gumball, movie content, I have so much good stuff on the way. And if you want to see it, make sure to like and subscribe, and I appreciate all of you. So without further ado, let's rank every single episode of Regular Show Season 4. And starting off this list at number 37, it has to be the episode The Longest Weekend, and I've spoken about this episode a plentiful of times. I hate it so much. There's just not a whole lot to like about it. The episode opens with everybody watching a movie, that being Muscle Man, Starla, Mordecai, Rigby, Eileen, and Margaret, and they're all watching it, and it's just such a beautiful movie about how they couldn't stay apart from each other for even a weekend, even an hour, even a minute, and this touches Starla's heart. She's just like, oh, Mitch, this movie really spoke to me, Mitch. I think we need to be apart. Starla's voice hurts. Oh, I think we need to be apart for a while, Mitch. We just can't be together for one weekend, or I'm gonna break up with your sorry ass. I don't want to be with you. So that's gonna be our premise for the entire episode. Muscle Man has to try his best to stay away from Starla for one weekend, or she'll dump him. And the main aspect of this episode that I immediately don't like is Starla's just like, oh, Mitch, I didn't mean it, Mitch. Oh, why hasn't he come and seen me yet?
Starla, there's no way he can guess what you're thinking all the time. That's impossible.
It should be possible.
Even though you said you would break up with him if he did, so like, how would he possibly know that you're going to want him to come to you? But either way, Muscle Man is struggling with this immensely. He goes back to his trailer and he's just thinking, oh, this is going to be a breeze, and he just immediately starts hallucinating super bad, seeing Starla in food, in mop water, in the TV, just everywhere.
I miss you, Mitch.
He sees Starla, and this scene was honestly just kind of funny where she's just like, I miss you, Mitch. I miss you. That was kind of the only aspect of the episode that I truly enjoyed, but then he has to get the help from everybody because he's going to fail, so he gets them all to tie him up, hold him down, and keep him away from Starla. And this all fails when Muscle Man tricks Rigby, and he's all like, dude, I gotta use it. I gotta go to the bathroom really bad. And Rigby's like, well, okay. And then Muscle Man just bodies him, knocks him to the ground, runs away.
In your face! My lady's love gives me all the strength I need!
And everybody stops him, and he's just like, I can't handle this anymore. I need to see her. Starla! Starla! And just starts howling into the night, hoping that Starla will hear it. And of course, she does. And she's like, Mitch! And they start, like, floating to each other at the speed of light for some reason. Yeah, pretty interesting that their love is just that strong. And just as it hits midnight on the final night, they touch, they collide, they make out passionately. We get this scene with a bunch of different things with the strike of every like clock at midnight. And yeah, it's just bottom of the barrel for me because I just don't like rewatching this episode at all. There's just so many qualities about it that I just find so meaningless. Like, do I really need to watch this episode? Like, these are the people that, like, make out while they're in a peanut butter and jelly bag costume. Like, I don't need to learn about how much they love each other. I don't care. It's bottom of the barrel, bottom of the list. That's number 37. And at number 36 is Terror Tales 2. And this really pains me to put this low on the list, but, like, looking back at all the stories, except for Jan the Wallpaper Man, these stories just kinda suck. There's a couple aspects that I like about them, but as an entire special episode, episode, it's just so weak to me that I just have to rank it bottom of the barrel. We get 3 stories in this terror tale, and one of them is Party Bus, told by Margaret. You know how I feel about that stupid-ass red bird who just infects everything with her presence, telling a story about a party bus that they all get on their way to a movie, and it's just going super fast, but it's turning everybody old at the same time.
Are they all right?
And they miss the movie and they start freaking out, and that's when people around them just start turning into dust, disintegrating right in front of them.
15 minutes.
And they gotta get off of this bus. They try to talk to the bus driver, and he's all like, no, you can't get off of the party bus. What do they say? Party till you drop. And he turns into a skeleton, and they have to figure out a way to get off the bus. They try to go into reverse, and it makes them turn younger, and they eventually turn into babies. They jump off of the bus, and they disintegrate into time.
We got off the party bus!
And it's just a very mediocre story. It's fine for what it is. I'm not saying that it's not entertaining. I'm still having a decent time. Just when you compare it to every single other episode on this list, it's just kind of boring. And then we go on to our next story, which I actually find a little bit more enjoyable than Party Bus. It's all about Mordecai Rigby, Mordecai's uncle, Muscle Man and High Five Ghost playing some bowling, doing a good old game of bowling. They're having a good time and everybody wants to quit, but Mordecai's like, one more game! And he starts moonwalking and knocks his uncle into the bowling machine and his uncle dies. I actually thought that was kind of funny.
Oh no, my tie!
Uncle Steve!
But either way, his uncle starts haunting Mordecai and just starts chasing him throughout the park, just like chasing him everywhere. Just like, Morty, come here, Morty.
Morty!
And they just run away and they eventually get all the way to his grave and he's just like, hey, I actually just wanted to give you this $5 that I still owed you.
Dude, it's your $5.
Hey, a promise is a promise.
Wow.
And yeah, that's the entire story. You just wanted to give him the $5 the entire time. It's fine. And then we get to the only story that I actually truly enjoyed the entire time, Jan the Wallpaper Man. And in this story, Mordecai and Rigby ruin the wallpaper, so they gotta re-wallpaper the entire house. And a TV magically appears in the hallway, and it gives them the ad for Jan the Wallpaper Man, who turns out to be a spider who produces wallpaper and tries to kidnap everybody in the house and eat them. And they only eventually find this out after he re-wallpapers the entire house. And I gotta say, his initial wallpapering, chef's kiss. It looks astonishing. I would love if the house looked like this. Yeah, it's a bit dark and gloomy, but it looks pretty sick. And either way, they eventually find out when they hear, oh, a jolly good show. I'm getting attacked by a man who's a spider.
Stop! What are you doing?
And Mordecai and Rigby run up and they say Pops, and they just got to go through this like maze of wallpaper, and they eventually find the giant spider who's about to eat them all, and Mordecai and Rigby have to use a package of replica grenades which turn out to be real, and they die by throwing the grenades in the spider, but they're like, oh wait, how far away were we supposed to be? And they die, and that's the end of it.
Hey, hold on. How far away are we supposed to be before these things go off?
Wait, what?
Overall, a fine episode of Regular Show. There's just way better ones. And for Terror Tales, this is definitely one of the much weaker ones. Just 2 of the stories don't even hit, and the third one just doesn't even really save it that much. So overall, a decent episode of Regular Show, but it just has a couple nitpicks that make it number 36. And coming in at number 35 is the episode Quips, and I won't lie to you, Quips has kind of been growing on me just a tad, and the only reason that is because every single time I have to talk about him in any Regular Show video I make, it's because I have to go Zingo! And, you know, I admire that part of him now. I actually enjoy that. I'm starting to think it's a little bit funny, but it does not make his episode any better. This episode of Regular Show just kind of feels so bland, and not a whole lot happens. The entire first half of it is just Quips telling all of his jokes, and again, the only one that I find funny is him making fun of Benson for being bald.
I don't care. A little more care would give you a little more hair. Zingo!
And all this eventually leads to nobody wanting to participate in game night because Quips is going to be there, so it's just down to Mordecai, Rigby, Skips, a baby, and Gary all playing Pictionary, and the entire time, Quips is just being super annoying, and I actually like the part where he's just roasting Reginald, or whatever the baby's name is, about his horrible drawing skills at drawing a fire engine.
Maybe it's time for a refresher course, because all you're communicating here is that you don't know how to draw a Dalmatian. Zingo!
I actually think him roasting him is kind of funny. It goes on for a bit too long, but it's pretty good. And eventually, Reginald just gets mad, so he puts Skips and Quips into a box, a floating box, and Skips has to tell Quips that he's not funny. and punch his way out of the box, and that's about it. That's all that happens in the entire episode. Very bland for a regular show episode. When your peak climax moment is just two characters getting put into a floating, shrinking box, that's just not what I want. Like, and we only see Quips in 2 episodes, so, like, it's not like it was super important for Skips' character development, because guess what? If Quips never exists, Skips doesn't change at all. He's the same character, so I don't see why we really needed this episode. I like the bachelor party episode in a later season that we get, but overall this first episode for Quips is just kind of boring, doesn't feel very regular show to me, and it's just crappy jokes the entire time. And coming in at number 34 is the episode Meteor Moves, and believe it or not, Mordecai kisses Margaret legit for the first time, a actual passionate romantic kiss for the first time in this episode, and it's honestly just so boring. The first 8 minutes of this episode is just, oh, will they, won't they? I actually like Rigby making fun of Mordecai basically the entire episode because he just won't do it. Even Rigby's sick of it. 3 seasons of all this build-up shit, and for what? Nothing has happened. They kissed at the airport as a goodbye kiss. That's all we got. I'm just waiting constantly for all my pain, all of my suffering, all of these episodes to finally be over where he just does it. In this episode, he finally does it. But the first 8 minutes are just pain, and Rigby is just saving it all. There are a couple of aspects of this episode that I actually do enjoy, though, that I find pretty good, that make it up a little bit higher. I mean, Rigby is a very good highlight of this episode.
Margaret, sorry I've been a wuss about kissing you. And she'll be all, that's okay, Mordecai, I'm way into losers. And then you'll be all,
just roasting Mordecai the entire time, just egging him on to just finally do it. And then they're also just driving to look at this meteor shower, which is actually a pretty cool concept. I wish they focused a little bit more on the actual meteor shower part of it. Mordecai and Rigby sing a pretty good song about stars. Eileen adds in a little bit to it.
Clear up the confusion, stars are made of gas. They shine from thermonuclear fusion.
I enjoyed that aspect. They get there, and it's just Margaret and Mordecai having a serious conversation about Margaret wanting to get into schools. All of this random stuff doesn't really matter because we all know what we're here for, and I don't like Margaret. We all know I don't like Margaret, so just listening about her school stuff, I don't care. So Mordecai and Margaret are talking. Rigby and Eileen go up to a higher vantage point to get a better view, and Rigby is just eyeing them the entire time with the binoculars, like, why haven't you doing it? Why haven't you done it? What are you doing? And he just runs down there and he's like, dude, are you busy with all that tongue wrestling? And he's like, I haven't done it. He's like, well, you're going to be in the friend zone, Mordecai. Friend zone, friend zone. And they just keep on talking and talking and talking. And eventually the meteor shower actually comes down. And it honestly looks super hype. Eileen is definitely hype about it.
It's beautiful!
And then we just get to one of the actual funniest parts of the episode where Rigby is just not even paying attention to this beautiful meteor shower. He's just staring at Mordecai and Margaret, and he just starts shouting at them, hey, Mordecai, friend zone, friend zone.
Mordecai! Friend zone! Friend zone, friend zone! Friend zone, friend zone!
I actually bursted out laughing on rewatch when I saw that because it's just so funny. Oh God, I love Rigby so much. He's just so good. Friend zone! And then Mordecai's like, oh, what is he talking about? And this eventually makes Mordecai and Margaret sucked up into these like glass green boxes with this weird meteor potato guy. And he's just like, well, Mordecai, you're in the friend zone now. And you're stuck there. And Mordecai's like, oh, dude, this sucks, dude. Can I get another chance? And after some debate and some debacle, he's like, okay, sure. And then he smooches Margaret. Yippee. Mordecai and Margaret together forever. Right? We're done with all the relationship episodes of the Will They Won't They, right? No? Okay, cool. And coming in at number 33 is the episode Do or Diaper, and I actually find this episode to be decently entertaining. It's not the best, not the worst regular show episode out there. It's all about Mordecai finally going on a date with Margaret. The only problem is that this date is all built upon a bet that if Mordecai doesn't kiss Margaret by midnight on a certain day, he has to wear a diaper for a whole entire week. He actually asks Margaret out on a date. They go on a date. They're having an amazing time. They see a movie. They get food. They're enjoying themselves. They're actually bonding, becoming a couple. They're having a great time. And then Mordecai just has to ruin all of it at the end because, you know, in that episode I talked about in a different video, Bad Kiss, Well, at least this time he's a little bit prepared to not have bad breath. He just overdoes it a lot because he sees that he's about to kiss Margaret, finally, and he just starts horking down every single mint he possibly can. Those mint strips, toothpaste, mint spray, every single thing he possibly can, and this just overloads his entire mouth. And it makes him freeze the entire park cold. Yeah. So he messes it all up. He goes out there to look for Margaret, and he's all like, Margaret, I messed everything up. And Margaret's like, why do you always do this? Why? Every time we're about to get close, you ruin everything, bro. And then Mordecai's all like, I'm sorry, Margaret. And then Margaret's like, it's okay. How much time do we have left before this bet's over? And she leans in to kiss him, about to do it, and then she swerves him, and that's it.
Have a nice week, diaper boy.
And then Mordecai has to wear the diaper, and he's happy in the diaper because it means that Margaret likes him because she swerved him. Because, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand this episode. It's fine. Nothing too great. Nothing too bad. Rigby and Muscle Man are a tad bit of a highlight here because they're just following Mordecai and Margaret around the entire time. And I really liked when they appeared in the back of the car.
What are you guys doing?
6 minutes till diaper time, bro.
As Mordecai's preparing for his kiss. I enjoyed that. But overall, this episode is fine. Still a bottom of the barrel type of episode for me. Just nothing too great about it, but nothing too horrible about it. At number 32 is the episode Cool Cubed, and I have a lot of problems with this episode, but the main problem I have with it is that it's supposed to be a Thomas episode, and for Thomas, we get no episodes about him. So when I finally think I have hope, oh my gosh, they're going to develop Thomas, they're going to give him an entire episode, he's just partially in it, even though they go inside of his brain. Yeah. Not a big fan of that. I wish we got more Thomas in this episode. I wish it was more about him, because if you think about it, we get Starter Pack, we get Cool Cubed, which is basically a little bit about Thomas, we get the one where he invades Jean's park, and then we get the Russian spy stuff. That's all we get for Thomas being a main pivotal role in the entire series. So, the episode opens with them all trying to give themselves awesome brain freezes for a awesome brain freeze photo. Pretty interesting premise. And Thomas isn't able to get a brain freeze because he's just immune, I guess. So he gets Cool Cubed, the ultimate brain freeze experience. So he drinks it all, and it gives him the best brain freeze face you could ever have.
Lame. Ah, dude!
And they take a picture, they're all happy, and then he collapses to the floor, and he's just like, ugh. And then he just says he's frozen, he's done. So they have to go inside of his head and save him from the Cool Cubed. And then again, I don't really like the villain in this episode because I thought he was going to be like this cool ice monster villain or have a cool personality, but it's just a rehash of the coffee bean and the translator, but instead of saying coffee, 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 it says freeze, freeze, freeze.
Freeze, freeze.
Now you die!
And, I mean, it's fine. I enjoy him as a villain, but for regular show, I like it when they use, like, brand new villains, because they could literally do anything they want in this really wacky world. They could have any kind of character they could possibly imagine, and they just chose to bring him back, which, yeah, it's a great, nice cameo, but I wish that they used somebody else. But either way, Mordecai and Rigby are inside of the brain. They meet a literal goat version of Thomas, which I thought was kind of funny.
Mordecai! Rigby! Mordecai!
And they have to chase down the Cool Cubed, get all the way there, and stop him from freezing the brain entirely. And I actually enjoyed the chase scene a lot. I thought that it was a little bit fun with them just chasing him down, trying to stop him, and they eventually get all the way to the brain core, and they're able to barely stop the Cool Cubed, and they have to race back out of Thomas's head to get out of there before they literally just expand inside of his head and kill Thomas. And yeah, it's fine for what it is. It has a bunch of cool scenes in it. I will admit the ending is pretty cool, pretty epic, a good chase scene, but overall, I want a Thomas episode. I want Thomas to be featured. Why not make silly old Pops be like, jolly good show. Oh no, my brain is just freezing. And then Thomas, Mordecai, and Rigby have to go inside of Pops's brain and save Pops. Why does it have to be Thomas? Why not make Thomas just featured as a main character in the episode? That's all I want. That's all I need. But overall, it's just a good episode. I wouldn't say it's great. Wouldn't say it's bad. definitely middle of the road here. And coming in at number 31 is the episode Starter Pack, and wow, an actual Thomas episode, but this one is kind of a given. I mean, it was right after Exit 9B where they introduced Thomas, so I feel like they kind of had to do an episode about him. I actually really enjoy the beginning of this episode a lot. It's just everybody pranking him to initiate him into the park, and all these pranks are lighthearted, fun, until eventually his first week is over, so everybody has to stop with the annoying pranks on him. But Muscle Man just continues relentlessly and just keeps going at him very hard. And Mordecai and Rigby don't like this because, I mean, they like Thomas. They want him to stick around. They don't think he deserves to get pranked all the time, even though one of them is really funny where he does a drive-by atomic wedgie.
Drive-by atomic wedgie!
I thought that was really great. That was really funny. But either way, they have to figure out a way to help Thomas. So they come up with the idea of Thomas pranking Muscle Man in retaliation, because if Thomas pranks Muscle Man, then it should all end, right? No, they do this little prank that Mordecai and Rigby set up because Thomas is just like, well, I'm just going to roll with the punches, I'm not going to prank him. So Mordecai and Rigby prank Muscle Man and try to make it look like it was Thomas who did this. And this, of course, makes Muscle Man crash out, lose his mind, start freaking out, and he's going to kill Thomas.
He's gonna wish he was never born! Thomas!
So he's just hunting him down, looking for Thomas, and Mordecai and Rigby tell him he's got to get out of here, he's got to go, he's got to get out of the park right now. And Thomas starts driving away, running away from this deranged Muscle Man, and Muscle Man picks up an entire building and throws it at Thomas, crushing the car that Thomas is in. And I was blown away as a kid when I saw this. I was like, did they really just introduce a character and then kill him right away just for comedy? No, Thomas. And then it's just revealed that he dove into a bush and the car was just destroyed, which was really tragic for his mother's car. I mean, granted, he was a Russian spy, but that wasn't a thing at this point in the series. So the car is just destroyed, and it turns out that Thomas and Muscle Man were pranking Mordecai and Rigby. Overall, a fine episode, nothing too amazing about it, just a couple of decent comedy moments. All of the pranks were a lot of fun, and that ending was honestly pretty crazy. That's why it ranks up a little bit higher, but not the best episode, not the worst. At number 30 is the episode Ace Balthazar Lives, and this episode is very interesting for a lot of reasons. One, it explores the knight that apparently lives in a dried up ravine in the park, who has been there for so long.
What? I am not Ace Balthazar. I am Sir Gablethorpe of Kingdonium!
If you actually watch a bunch of previous episodes, he's been there a while, and it explores him because the star, the man himself, Ace Balthazar, the man who thinks he's gonna crash! Yeah, he just likes to go around breaking things. That's like his entire gimmick. That's why he's a famous rock star, because he just starts destroying shit anytime he's a little bit upset. He crashes.
Where's Ace?
That's what he does. So they see this guy who lives in the park, who is just wearing trash, wearing garbage. They see that he has the same face as this guy, and they assume that Ace Balthazar is this guy, and he's somehow not dead, and he just lost his memory, and he's been living in the park this entire time. So they go to Ace Balthazar's old band members, and they're like, dude, this is Ace. And they obviously don't believe him because Ace Balthazar died in a crash. So, they don't believe him. So Mordecai and Ruby are like, okay, well, let's just jog his memory a little bit. So they just sit him down in front of the TV and make him watch Ace Balthazar for like 40 hours, and he's all like, I think I'm gonna crash, boys. I think I'm gonna crash. And he just starts acting like him, talking like him, dressing like him, looking like him. And so they go over to the band and they're like, whoa, this is the guy. He's alive, Ace. And so they decide to host a concert with him back. And right before he's about to start playing a tasty lick, the actual dead Ace Balthazar ghost shows up and is all like, you're not me. You've never been me. You're not me at all. And that's when the Ace Balthazar that they created is all like, you never understood me. You never understood anything. I can be whatever I want to be. And he starts crashing out. And the ghost Balthazar is all like, whoa, that was some premium crashing. You deserve to be me. Here's my guitar. And he just starts playing horribly because he doesn't know how to play guitar because watching TV won't teach you how to play guitar. So Eighth Balthazar's all like, I'll do it, just let me do it. They play a concert. He sends in all of his knight buddies from the past because it turns out the guy who lives in the ravine actually was a knight from the past. And yeah, that's the entire episode. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because it's just honestly a bunch of silly shenanigans going on. Nothing really gets me to laugh too much. Nothing really makes me hate this episode in any way. It's kind of just a episode that exists. Just watch it, just turn off my brain and just be like, this is good. This is fine. I enjoy it. And coming in at number 29 is the episode Party Repeat. And if there was one character that I never thought was going to get a follow-up, it was Party Pete. Because, I mean, we watched him explode in the episode Party Pete. Didn't think that guy was going to come back, but here we are. And in this episode, Benson is just a party animal.
Bow down to the party king!
He's just a menace. He's partying it up. He is the life of the party. So these two guys, who just so happen to be from a facility where they clone the best partiers in town, recruit Benson, they kidnap him and force him to become a party animal that they could clone and send to people's houses to liven up the party for an undisclosed amount of money, a lot of money. And so the park guys figure this out. They go there and they're looking for him, but they just don't have any information about Benson. And so they call the place and order Party Benson. And that's when Benson shows up and he's like, party guys, let's get this party started. Yeah, let's party it up. And they're like, Benson, don't you remember us? You know who else likes to party? And, Benson doesn't know them at all. So they're like, stop it, the party's over. And he just explodes.
It's over? Then my job here is done.
So yeah, they're pretty apparent that this wasn't the real Benson now. So they go to this facility, they fight their way in there, they free Benson, and they see all of the other people that were also cloned. And they free Party Pete. And it turns out that his name is Herman Werfel, and he's been stuck in this party for so long.
But it's not Party Pete, it's Party Herman Werfel.
And I don't understand how this guy became such an awesome party animal, because he just seems so, I don't know. He's Herman Werfel. What else would you want to say about him? But either way, they free all the clone people, which includes a robot guy and like this disco lady, and they gotta fight their way out of there. Unfortunately, the robot guy dies, and then the disco lady also dies.
Well, Disco is dead!
But they're able to fight their way out of there by defeating a Party Pete and a bunch of missiles and a bunch of guys with guns. They escape there and they blow up the entire facility. And yeah, everybody escapes. Party Pete and Benson and all the guys, they escape, freeing them. Very good stuff. And I really like the joke at the end where the place explodes and for some reason the police get there in like a nanosecond. And they're like, how'd you guys get here so fast? It's just like, we're the police. What did you expect?
We came when we saw the explosion.
You guys got here fast.
Of course we did, we're the police.
Overall, a pretty fine episode. I didn't really need an exploration into Party Pete, but overall, I'm fine that it happened. It's definitely not an episode where I just clamor to be all like, this episode's so good, I gotta rewatch it. But it's an episode where if it was on, I would sit down and just enjoy it for what it is. But overall, it's not too crazy. Coming in at number 28 is the episode Last Meal, and this episode is all about Muscle Man having to go on a diet because Starla commands it, and she wants him to be healthy so that he doesn't die super early because all they eat is trash food. I mean, look at them. They're just these big humanoid monsters, and all they do is eat. So Muscle Man wants to go on one last binge of all of his favorite foods. And it's actually pretty decent. The episode, up until the ending, is just pretty strong. I mean, you just get to watch Muscle Man go around and eat a bunch of different foods in a bunch of fun ways. Overall, I'm having a pretty good time. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's a great episode to watch if you're eating, because anytime people are eating in a show, it just makes food all the more enjoyable. At least that's how I think about it. So they're just going around eating all this food, and they eventually enter a hot dog eating contest. And way back when in the episode Dead at 8, at the end of that episode, Death says that Muscle Man is going to die in a hot dog eating contest. And this is where we finally get a follow-up to that. I'm actually glad that they follow up plot lines like this, because that was so random, but it works super well. Muscle Man enters a hot dog eating contest and he has to go against Death. And it actually is pretty cool up until the ending. Again, I don't like the ending. They're just having this hot dog eating contest, and because Muscle Man has been gorging himself all day, Death is destroying him. Muscle Man can barely slam 1 or 2 hot dogs. He's just struggling, so he calls Starla, and he's like, Starla, I've been cheating on my diet, Starla. You know who else likes to eat 30,000 calories in a day, Starla? Mitch Storenstein does. And so Starla rushes over there, and the way that this episode ends, they just start horking each other down. Because Starla's like, I won't let you die, Mitch, without your favorite food.
Favorite food.
And they just start making out in horrible ways. They literally start flipping each other with just their lips attached. I don't even know how they're doing that. Even Rigby is like, how is that possible? How is any of this going on? They're just, And Death finds it so disgusting that he throws up, which rules him out of the contest, and Muscle Man wins, which means Death isn't allowed to take his soul. Overall, pretty decent. I mean, the ending is a little bit hard to watch unless you like 2 giant green people kissing each other in ways that I've never seen done before. But everything other than that, it's pretty good. And overall, I mean, that ending, although disgusting, is pretty funny, and that's why it earns the number 29 spot. And number 27 is the episode Picking Up Margaret, and believe it or not, this is a pretty good episode. You know why season 4 is pretty decent? Because all of the Margaret episodes aren't that bad. They're actually pretty good because it's actual relationship developments without all of the cringe. And this is one of the much better episode. You know, there's this gang in here. Well, the episode is all about Mordecai taking Margaret to the airport because she's going to go and look at schools for journalism or whatever. I forget what she's doing because, again, I don't care about her character very much. But either way, he's picking up Margaret and he's going to take her all the way to the airport. What a stand-up guy. What a good guy. The only problem is that he's picking up Benson's car from the shop and he runs into the Wickets, who are a parody of the Warriors, a 70s or 80s movie. I don't know. I saw it a really long time ago. And they like to say Warriors come out to play, but instead of Warriors come out to play, it's Mordecai, put your phone away, because the Wickets here really don't like cell phones.
Mordecai, put your phone away.
I think it's so funny. They hate cell phones so much that they're literally going to destroy Mordecai's, and they just can't handle that he has a cell phone. So he goes to pick up Margaret, and he's still in this horrible bad part of town, and the Wickets start following him because he has a cell phone, and they just start chasing him, trying to destroy the car, trying to destroy his phone, trying to kill him because he was using a phone. And overall, pretty good chase scene.
I said no cell phones!
It just gets crazier and crazier from there. All of this crazy stuff trying to run away from the Wickets. Actually, pretty enjoyable. I like the Wickets a lot. I thought they were super funny and added to the episode a lot. And then we get that phenomenal ending, which I thought was going to be the end of all our pain, all of our strife, all of our struggles, because Margaret kisses Mordecai. But it turns out, because when you kiss somebody, you could just do it as a goodbye kiss, and it can't be romantic for some reason. But either way, Mordecai's hyped about it. We get, we are the champions, my friend, as Mordecai is just celebrating that he finally got a kiss from Margaret. Overall, pretty good win for that guy. Glad Mordecai finally got a win here with Margaret. That's always good to see. And then all of the stuff with the Wickets was a lot of fun and made for a pretty good episode. Pretty funny stuff.
Till the end.
At number 26 is the episode Family BBQ, and guess what, guys? 2 good Margaret episodes back to back, and this is one of the best Margaret episodes that there could possibly be. It's actually so much fun. It's all about Mordecai and Margaret going to a family BBQ and meeting Mordecai's father. And this man is just rock hard. Wait. Stone hard? I don't know. He's very stoic. He doesn't like Mordecai. He doesn't want to shake his hand because he doesn't like him very much, because he doesn't like any of Margaret's boyfriends, because he believes that they're going to take his little Margaret bug away. He just can't handle it. So the entire time he's just making Mordecai's life a living hell, making him wear a thong or a Speedo. I don't know what you would even call that thing. Either way, it highlights Mordecai's ass in a beautiful way. Gotta love that he's just showing off for his beautiful lady right there with his thick old Blue Jay ass. Yeah, didn't think I wanted to see that this episode. But either way, he's going through it and he just keeps trying to impress Margaret's dad the best way that he can. And eventually it all culminates in him challenging him to a man and ball competition, which is just them doing cannonballs into a pool over and over again. And it's honestly a really fun time. They made just jumping into a pool, doing a cannonball, so much fun. They just keep having to one-up each other to prove that they're more of a man over and over again. Doing it off a diving board, a super diving board, out of a tree house. Just all this super cool stuff, and it eventually culminates in them being like, okay, well, you think that you could keep up with me, Mordecai? And he takes him into a helicopter to do a man and ball, which is literally, I don't know, you basically die if you jump into the pool from this height, and he just keeps going higher and higher up, and then we just get this awesome moment where he's like, dude, why don't you like me? And he's just like, you're taking away my baby girl, and he accidentally falls out of the helicopter because there's like turbulence. He falls out, Mordecai jumps out to try and save him, but the parachute fails. They get their respect, they do their little handshake, boom shakalaka, they're friends, they like each other, but they're going to die, and they land in the pool. Best man and ball ever.
Hey, call me Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
But they're stuck together like this because the only reason they survived is because their hands were touching. And yeah, they're in the hospital. And that's about it. That's the entire episode. And overall, just a lot of fun. The entire cannonball competition was just visually a lot of fun. Just a great gag, and I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed all the stuff with Mordecai trying to impress Margaret's dad. All that stuff was pretty funny. And it's just a very solid episode. It's so weird, me complimenting Margaret-centered episodes. Isn't this odd? Are we living in a different universe or what? And coming in at number 25 is the episode Caveman, and this episode is also a lot of fun. It opens with Mordecai and Rigby chilling in a cave, camping it up, having a good time. They got a fire in there, roasting some marshmallows, drinking some sodas, having a very good time. And their fire, when they go to sleep, just so happens to de-thaw a caveman. Whoa! Oh my gosh, Caveman episode? Let's get hyped, let's get excited. And he's just very crazy, but you know, Mordecai and Rigby are just having a good time with him, even though he's doing a little bit of rampaging. And Benson, upon seeing this, you know, even though he's friends with a Yeti, a green man, a blue jay, a raccoon, a floating ghost, the fact that he's a goddamn gumball machine, he sees a caveman of all things and he's like, I'm gonna call the pound on that thing.
If he isn't up to park standards in a week, I'm calling the pound.
If you don't get it up to code, I'm gonna send it to prison, basically. Which is just so weird to me. That always stuck out about this episode, and I talk about it anytime I talk about this episode. Because why, of all things, does a caveman, I mean, yeah, he's stupid, he's a caveman, but why does that make you immediately just take away his rights as a living being? Well, how do rights even work in this show? What deserves to be considered, you know, human? I don't get it. But either way, they have to find a way to make him up to code, get him a little bit smart, so they just show him a TV, plant him in front of it, and he learns everything about human culture. He becomes sophisticated, he becomes smart, and I enjoyed this part of the episode a lot, where they're just teaching him everything about society, getting him up to code, and he actually becomes pretty dang smart. But there's one thing missing for that big old noggin of his. Another big noggin to knock together, and oh boy, does he go for the biggest noggin he possibly can.
There she is. My Diane.
Are you sure you want to do this? Her forehead looks pretty big.
When he's looking for his true love, he finds Diane. Diane, his true love. He unfreezes all of his caveman brethren, and he tries to show Diane and her giant-ass forehead the ways of this sophisticated new world, but she's just too backwards. She's too behind. She just can't handle the man that he has become. She doesn't like it, so she unleashes all of the caveman onto society, and they just go around wreaking havoc. They even punch this poor fish in the pond, and just like, I don't know why they included this scene where he just punches the fish in the pond and just grabs it and starts taking him. Yeah, the cavemen are wreaking a little bit of havoc, so Greg has to take them all into the freezer and freeze himself with Diane, where he deems himself to be more happy because he gets to be frozen with this big-ass headed lady. Everything with Grug, sorry, it rhymes with Grug here. Everything with Greg in the beginning, all of the stuff, and the caveman's name is Greg, by the way. All of that stuff with him, just learning how to be in society, being the culture, was a lot of fun. And then the ending was just super chaotic, but also a lot of fun with all the caveman shenanigans. I enjoyed it a lot. Coming in at number 24 is the episode Kill It Radio. And this episode honestly feels like it could become a reality pretty soon. Imagine one day you're driving and you turn on Star Wars radio, and it's just Yoda as your radio host, and instead of, you know, calling calling in the average Joe to get relationship advice and to do all these like cheating scandal advice on the radio show. It's just Yoda giving the advice. That actually sounds pretty funny when I think about it. That was just a weird example, but that's what this episode is all about. The episode opens with Muscle Man writing a song for Starla for their like 5-year anniversary of the first time they ever made out. Yeah, pretty crazy. He's writing a song about it and he wants to get it on the radio to play for their anniversary night. Honestly, a pretty sweet thing to do. And so they go to Kill It Radio, the DJ station, and they're trying to get in there, but nobody is allowed in there, and they eventually see DJ Donnie G. They run up to him and they're like, Donnie G, can you play this tape for me, man? He's like, of course, brother. I'll play your tape any day. And he throws it in the trash. Muscle Man sees this and he's like, Donnie G. And because Donnie G lied to him. And we find out that the entire radio station eliminated all of its real life DJs to replace it with an AI computer that was completely running the station. So they have to find a way to sneak in there, destroy this AI computer thing, and bring the people back to the music. And this entire thing is kind of like a heist in a way. They have to dress up as like repairmen and they have to sneak in there, and then the robot eventually finds out and they have to fight their way all the way up to the control room, which was really cool. And they eventually get there to play the mixtape, and Donnie's about to play it and he literally gets shot with a disc in his chest, just leaving a giant hole in his chest. Yeah, crazy visual for a show like that. I think in some like more moderate versions it just shows the disc and not the actual hole in his chest, but what I got when I was a kid was a giant hole in his chest. But he plays it anyway, and we just get this awesome scene as they run out of the building with Muscle Man's beautiful voice singing over us. You're the hot dog in my burger. You're the mustard on my what bun.
You're the cheese upon my burger. I'm the mustard on your bun.
Whatever it is, it's so good. Peak Muscle Man right here. That beautiful song as they're running out while the entire building is exploding. So good. Ending, Muscle Man gets to see Starla. They kiss, of course. All good stuff. And there's a lot to like about it, especially just up towards the end with this heist to get in there, switching out the tape, the music, the song. All of it was pretty good, pretty solid, and it makes for a pretty good episode. And coming in at number 23 is the episode Bald Spot, and I think this episode is honestly hilarious. It has so many good moments in it. The episode opens with Muscle Man getting a bad haircut, which he mistakes for a bald spot. So we get all the Muscle Man typical shenanigans of him trying to cover this up. He wears a really big hat, but Benson doesn't like this because it's not party time.
That's on work time.
Fine.
Whoa.
Is it that noticeable?
And then he tries to do a comb over, but that doesn't work because Skips can recognize it right away.
How could you tell?
Because Skips is also bald. He tries a spray-on hairspray, but that also doesn't work because he's, I don't know, a sweaty pig guy, and it just melts down his face.
What's wrong with your hair, dude?
What? Man, this stuff was expensive!
And so he's out of ideas, so the only thing left that he could possibly do to keep Starla from finding out that he is bald is to shake his boobs violently. And yeah, he just starts flexing his pecs left and right when they go to the roller rink that night. He has his shirt off, rose in his mouth, and he's just shaking them left and right. And it works. Starla doesn't notice a thing. She doesn't notice a thing at all. And it's eventually getting very hard for him to do this because, I mean, flexing your pecs for that long has to take a toll on you. So he goes to the bathroom because he just can't flex anymore. He's in there for a long time, so I5 comes looking for him, and he's just like, don't come in here, bro.
Don't come in here, bro!
Dude, what happened?
And his pecs are just stuck, glowing, just going like just nonstop because I guess he flexed too much because he was punching and slapping him, and it's just so funny. He just can't stop flexing his pecs, just nonstop. They're glowing, and he goes back out there. And apparently Muscle Man's boobs now can just entice every single woman there to immediately desire him immensely. Their eyes and pupils just dilate to the maximum, and they're just drawn to Muscle Man. So we get all of the boyfriends fighting Muscle Man, and Starla trying to fight off all these women from getting on top of Muscle Man. And Muscle Man eventually has to confess that he's bald, and that reverses all of the effects. All of the women now find him gross and disgusting, and Starla's all like, Mitch, you stupid idiot. You're not bald. It's just a bad haircut. So that entire entire episode was just Mitch being silly about his silly old haircut. And overall, I found this episode really funny. All of the stuff with Muscle Man trying to cover it up, and Muscle Man even had like a nightmare about Starla finding out that was also really funny. I enjoyed that a lot. And the entire ending, all of the stuff with him flexing his pecs and them just getting a mind of his own was really funny and makes for a very funny episode. And coming in at number 22 is the episode Country Club, and this episode deals with those nasty country club rich snobs who are abusing our poor park workers. I really like the opening of this episode where Mordecai and Rigby are lured by a $100 bill that's on a fishing line that leads to the country club just so that they could steal the cart.
Hey, what are you doing? You can't take our golf cart?
Such a weird yet really smart way to get poor people to just run towards your country club. I mean, if I saw a $100 bill blowing in the wind, I would chase after it too. So they drive after it, they're trying to get it, they eventually get to the gates of the country club, and that's when the country club people just grab the cart, throw Mordecai and Rigby out of it, and just steal the cart from them. Yeah, pretty messed up, and I just hate them immediately. I think they did such a good job at painting these people as horrible, horrible people, because they're just sitting there like, money, cheers, money, cheers, let's destroy this cart at the summer solstice, yes. And yeah, I hate them. They're great villains for this episode because they're just immediately exactly what you hate about snobby, rich people. So Mordecai and Rigby have to sneak into the country club and try and get the cart back, and this entire plan fails super bad. They get found out by the security guards, they get chloroformed by towels, and they pass out, and that's when Benson finds out about this, and he's like, what? Because he's super upset that they stole the cart. And so this leads to Mordecai and Rigby being tied up the night of the summer solstice, and they're gonna watch as the cart and them all get turned into toilets. Yes, you heard me right. Toilets. The rich people have a machine that turns people into toilets or machines, or the rich people have a machine that turns everything that goes through it into a toilet. Yeah, very weird interest for all of you, but I guess rich people be richin', and if this is what they want, it's what they're gonna get, I guess. So this leads to all the park people breaking in there, Benson, everybody, to have this awesome showdown to free Mordecai and Rigby, get the cart back, and get everything back, mainly because Benson is sick of them because of his boombox. His goddamn boombox that he lost. He can't handle it because not everybody has enough money to replace their boombox. He's very passionate about his boombox here.
Some of us have to work really hard to replace our boomboxes.
But either way, we get a pretty epic battle here between all of the park people and all of the country club people going against them. Pops is fighting this guy shirtless, using his big old muscles to fight this other guy with big old muscles. They have a cavalry to fight them. Everybody's just getting at it. Everybody's fighting. It's pretty good. Mordecai and Rigby are going up against this head bald guy of the country club who apparently has had so much work done that he can't feel anything in his face, so his punches do nothing. And he also has mandible tiger claws for limbs because, again, rich people be richin', and if you want mandible tiger claws, I guess go for it, yeah. But either way, Mordecai and Rigby are able to get the jump on him by pushing him back when Muscle Man is able to stop the machine for a second, and the cart falls on top of him, stopping it for a second, and Mordecai and Rigby drive into him, driving him through the toilet machine, and the country club guy turns into a toilet and is sent into space. What a great ending. So happy that that guy got what he deserved, just being a toilet out in space for the rest of his life. Yeah, pretty good ending for that. Everybody gets their stuff back. It's a win-win. Good final battle. Good build up to the climax. Overall, good episode. And coming in at number 21 is the episode Stake Me Amadeus, and I would enjoy this episode so much more if it wasn't for that ending, because everything up to the ending I thought was really good. The episode opens with Mordecai and Margaret having a couple of amazing dates, enjoying their lives together. They seem like a perfect couple. Good for Mordecai, finally getting a win after 4 seasons of absolute nonsense. I'm so happy for the guy, and his dreams are about to get so crushed, man. So he's finally gonna ask Margaret to be his girlfriend. A big point in a man's life. He's hyping this up. He's like, Rigby, Rigbone, this is the biggest night of my life. It's gotta go well, so I gotta take Margaret to a fancy dinner. So he decides on Stake Me Amadeus because he has so many Amadeus dollars because Pops has been giving them out as gifts. So what could possibly go wrong? He goes to the dinner place to, make sure that he has a table, get there a little bit sooner than Margaret, get the table ready, and that's when some bad things happen, because apparently all these Amadeus dollars are fake. He gets caught by the FBI, they take him in, and they're like, "You're going down, boy, down to prison town. I hate you." And Mordecai's like, "I don't even know how this happened." So all the other park guys gets called in, and that's when Pops reveals that it was me. I sold them the funny money.
It was me! I gave them the funny money!
And it turns out that he's been buying it from a mysterious dealer. And nobody knows who this mysterious dealer is because he's always in a trench coat. He's really weird. And so they set up a sting operation where, while Mordecai is going on the date with Margaret, he also has to meet at the table with this dealer and get some more Amadeus dollars and figure out who he is. And during this dinner, Mordecai sneaks off, leaves Margaret there alone, is at the dinner with this weird guy, and he's all like, "Well, how do we know these things are real? Tell me these Amadeus dollars are real." And that's when it's revealed that it's the Freddy Fazbear of Regular Show, the leader of the Capicola gang, this bear guy. Yeah, from the Fuzzy Dice episode, he makes his triumphant return. And he's all like, "I've been planning this the whole time." And apparently he survived getting hit by a missile and getting sprayed with a minigun. Don't know how he did that. I'm very impressed. He survived. He rebuilt himself, and he made all of these counterfeit Amadeus dollars, sold them to Pops because he knew he would be able to get to Mordecai and Rigby and everybody at the park. Yeah, very elaborate, weird plan, but hey, I mean, it worked. He got them right there, and so this leads to a crazy shootout, a crazy standoff between the Capicola gang, who apparently all the members survived for some odd reason. I don't know, it's Regular Show, I shouldn't look that much into it. And a big shootout commences. You were thinking, how could this episode possibly be bad? What could possibly be bad about it? Well, then Mordecai and Margaret are sitting next to a table, and Mordecai's like, "Well, if we're gonna die, Margaret, will you be my girlfriend?"
Be my girlfriend.
Mordecai.
And that's when Margaret reveals the horrible, horrible, sad truth. And God, I hate this part of the episode so much. One, I feel really bad for Mordecai here, and I completely understand the point of all of the Mordecai, Margaret, and CJ stuff. Mordecai isn't supposed to end up with any of them. That's not the goal of the show. That's not the goal of these relationships existing. It's just the torment that you have to put me through with either these cringy episodes or episodes that I don't really care about, just for this stuff to happen. For Mordecai just to get his dreams crushed, for him to just become this depressed person because of this. And I just hate Margaret because of this, because she literally talks about school all the time. Why would you lead this guy on if you know that there's a chance that you're going to leave and you're not even going to try to pursue it after the fact that you're leaving? You don't even want to try long distance. You don't want to try anything. You just want to go to school. And she knows that for a fact from the beginning because it's all she starts talking about for the couple of episodes that she's in. And I just feel so bad for Mordecai. She runs away crying because she can't be his girlfriend. And then the shootout stops for a second because oddly, even though they're gonna be invested in killing each other, they're not willing to kill Margaret. So yeah, Margaret runs away. Mordecai is heartbroken, and the Stake Me Amadeus club owner is able to shoot them all with rockets. Ends the episode. Overall, everything leading up to that ending is fine. The ending itself is honestly fine. I just hate on it too much because I hate that I have to go through so many Mordecai and Margaret episodes in this series just for it to end like that, just for it to end on such a sour note, for it to end with Mordecai being so sad, because I honestly, I like it when Mordecai gets wins. It's why I keep saying in all these videos that I wish it was just, oh, Mordecai got the girl and now there could just be some casual romance episodes here and there, but I understand that it's supposed to paint a picture on real life that relationships don't always go that good, that they sometimes end really badly, maybe not in horrible shootouts, I hope, but they sometimes end badly and it just doesn't work out. I understand the moral, I understand all the good stuff. I just wish that since this was never going to work out, that this would be the end of it. That maybe after this, Mordecai would just completely move on from Margaret, but then they bring her back just for more nonsensical drama that I don't need because I got so much of it from these first 4 seasons. So overall, the season 4 finale of Regular Show, Stake Me Amadeus, fine episode. Just the ending makes me upset, but not solely because of the ending itself, just because of everything after and before. Coming in at number 20 is the episode Firework Run, and don't get me wrong, this episode is really funny, it's really good. I just think it's a little bit overrated, and that's why it ranks a little bit lower on the list. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The episode has a really good opening with Muscle Man destroying all of the fireworks because he lights them too early, literally all of the fireworks for the 4th of July park show. So Benson is reasonably upset about this.
Why would you light off all the fireworks fireworks before the biggest event of the year!
He's about to fire them all, and Muscle Man's like, wait, Benson? I know a guy, because Muscle Man always knows a guy, and this guy just so happens to be Hector. And so they go to the South of the Line Chili Rellenos factory and meet Hector, and they ask him for some fireworks, and he gets a little bit pissed about this, because, I mean, fireworks on the 4th of July, that's a little bit crazy.
Oh, fireworks. Ah! Did you come here asking me for fireworks on the 4th of July?
And so he's willing to offer them some fireworks if they complete a task for them. They just have to do a simple delivery, and there's a lot of drug reference in this episode. It's clearly supposed to be a metaphor for, like, drugs. That's what the chili rellenos are. It's just drugs and, like, the handling and smuggling of drugs. Yeah, it's very entertaining. And so they handle it. They take it all the way over to this other dealer, and they eventually find out that gunpowder is being put in the South of the Line chili rellenos. They were not supposed to know this. No. So they get kidnapped, taken back to Hector. They wake up chained to a bench, and Hector's like, well, I gotta kill you guys. And they manage to get out of this by turning the bench around, and they save themselves, and they steal El Diablo, Hector's most prized, huge firework. And the only reason Hector has this firework is because if it's ever lit, it is prophesized to kill Hector. Yeah, very weird concept, but very regular show. They steal it, they get all the way there, and Hector is holding a gun to them because Hector catches up, and they trick Hector into shooting it at the firework. It lights.
No! The prophecy!
And it's just this awesome firework show with this giant chili relleno in the sky. He's just doing all this stuff, this awesome chili pepper. He's shooting guns. He's just being so cool. Honestly, visually pretty awesome. Does exactly what it says it's prophesized to do. It kills Hector. And honestly, a pretty funny scene. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. Overall, a pretty good episode. Lots of good funny moments. We get Benson crashing out in the beginning. All of the stuff with Hector is pretty good. The drug smuggling chili rellenos, that was also pretty good. Pretty solid ending with that giant chili pepper in the sky killing Hector. And it just makes for a pretty good episode. I think it's a little bit overrated. I think people hype it up a little bit too much. It's just a solid regular show episode though. That's why it earns the number 20 spot. And at number 19 is the episode That's My Television. And I just love the opening for this episode so much. I think it's so funny. It opens with Mordecai and Rigby at a autograph signing with RGB2, and the winner of the raffle gets a signed box set from him, and Mordecai and Rigby win the raffle, and they go up there, they claim it. RGB2's like, I hope you save room for some dessert. Yeah, his signature catchphrase, it's pretty great. And instead of, it being his autograph, it says, meet me in the bathroom.
Meet me in the bathroom. All right, thanks for coming out, everyone.
Yeah, a little bit weird, but they do it, and they meet him in there, and he confesses that he hates this life. He just wants to go and see the Pine Mountains. It's his dream, so Mordecai and Rigby are gonna help him do that. And they get in this van, sneaking RGB2 out of there, and this just leads to a epic chase scene with cars flipping, helicopters getting shot down by missiles, them punching people out of this van. It's just such a cool chase scene. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite in the entire series, with them getting RGB2 all the way over to this bridge. And when they eventually get to this bridge, there's a bunch of destroyed flaming cars, and there's a bunch of RGB2 fans. And I really like this because I guess it just is kind of making fun of people who obsess over shows this much, to the point where they'll literally threaten to kill people over a show.
We just want the autograph box set!
Yeah, it's making fun of those people, and they all try to kill Mordecai and Rigby because Mordecai and Rigby have the signed box set. Yeah, they're all trying to kill him, and they just have to drive backwards, run away from these people, and that's when the television producer army catches up, and they unveil their trump card. This guy.
Engine off and step out of your vehicle. Unless, of course...
Yeah, he's like every 13-year-old's like most badass vision. So they're like, oh no, this can't be good. So they throw the signed box set at him, and just all of the fans just basically maul him to death. And they do one final stretch, one final drive away, and RGB2 throws all of his cans of air and oxygen at the guys, blowing up the entire bridge, killing them all. They escaped, and they go to see the Pine Mountains, which actually turns out to just be a billboard because it was just a postcard for a gas station. Yeah, still pretty cool though. And the ending of this is what ranks it way higher because it was not what I was expecting at all. I mean, I thought it was weird that RGB2 needed oxygen to breathe inside of the box because I thought he was a little robot, but it's just revealed to be this like dying old man who's just been crumbled in a box for years.
See with my own eyes.
Whoa.
Just inside RGB2, and he's just, I feel so bad for this guy. What, did he sign up for this, or did they just shove a guy inside of the box and tell him that this is his life now, and they hope he saves room for just some dessert? But either way, pretty good episode. Awesome chase scene throughout the entire thing. Just so many good moments, so many good action scenes. Just delivering a pretty good episode that earns the number 19 spot. And coming in at number 18 is the episode Pie Contest. And in this episode, Mordecai and Rigby are sick of being stuck on trash duty. They want to judge the pie contest, but Benson is like, you guys cannot handle this. There's no way. And so if Mordecai and Rigby quit judging the pies by the end of the day, they're fired. And so we just get Mordecai and Rigby going around judging all these pies. It starts off with Pops, and Pops' pie, of course, is a jolly good show. It's the best pie, but he gets very sad when he doesn't get the instant win. So Mordecai and Rigby are already off to a shaky start. They just go around trying all these pies. Starla's taste like ass. They eventually get to Margaret's, which is the worst pie that they've ever seen, ever tasted, but they have to pretend that it's good, and they're just struggling so much.
Because we're judges.
So delicious.
So they eventually go back to the tent, and they're like trying to figure out what they're going to do because they don't want to hurt everybody's feelings. And that's when Promise Pie shows up, the villain for the episode, and he's like, I could help you. I could help you judge this contest. I'm Promise Pie.
Hi.
And they immediately don't trust this talking pie from a trash can, because why would they? Very odd. So they get the brilliant idea to just go around and give everybody a perfect score on all of their pies, because they think that will solve everything. Everybody will be happy because they all got such an amazing score on their pie. But it turns out when Benson walks through the curtain, happy as ever because he might get to fire them, sunglasses, a piece of pie in hand, he's just like, well, you guys have to pick a winner. You have to pick somebody out of the entire crowd. If everybody gets a perfect score, then one person has to be chosen as a winner. So they eventually have to come back to Promise Pie and be all like, can you help us? And he's like, of course I could help you. And they're like, can you stop talking like that?
Me too. Oh, sure. I can use my natural voice.
How's this?
Yeah, I really like Promise Pie here. I think he's so funny. But either way, Promise Pie goes out there and just starts eating everybody. And I just love this scene of him going around swallowing them all. And Mordecai and Rigby are like, what are you doing? I'm weeding out the competition for you.
Babe! Give me...
And the way to defeat Promise Pie is to admit to everybody how much their pies sucked, so they just start telling everybody how shit their pies were, which makes them all spit out a Promise Pie until they eventually get down to Promise Pie just being a little piece of pie, and they toss him into the garbage. And Promise Pie is done for. No more. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I really liked all the different pies and all of the different characters appearing. Like Skip's having hair in his pie. Death had like ghosts coming out of his pie. Just a bunch of different pies here that were all super unique in their own way. I enjoyed that a lot. I really liked Promise Pie as a villain. I thought he was super funny. And then just him going around eating everybody was also super fun. Just a really good comedic episode. And that's why it earns the number 18 spot. At number 17 is the episode Trailer Trash, also known as the Mad Max episode of Regular Show, which is just so awesome. It opens with a health inspector going around the park making sure every single thing is up to code. And he eventually stumbles upon Muscle Man's little home there, his little trailer, and he thinks it's the most disgusting thing that he's ever seen. And I thought it was so funny. He just opens the door and he's like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna pass. You need to get rid of that thing. So all of the park guys come together to help Muscle Man fix up his trailer, and I actually think it's a lot of fun. They just all go around getting rid of all of this trash, staring at all of Muscle Man's super weird things in here that are just honestly disgusting, but they do it. They get the trailer up to code, fix it up, make it look super nice, and the guy comes back and he's like, well, this isn't up to code, and he just kicks the door in and starts destroying the trailer, because it's revealed that this guy is actually Frank Jones, a guy that lost to Muscle Man a few years back in a hot dog eating contest that won Muscle Man his trailer. And Frank Jones apparently became a health inspector and went through all of this garbage, all of this nonsense, solely so that he could get the trailer back from Muscle Man, because he just let it corrupt his mind and he became the villain all over this trailer from like 5 years ago. Yeah, pretty crazy. But either way, he says he's coming back for that trailer no matter what, and so Muscle Man punches him in the face.
Trailer is nothing but a pile.
And he says he's coming back for that trailer no matter what. And so Muscle Man gets the brilliant idea to take the trailer to the border so that he can't take it because it's out of his jurisdiction. So we get this awesome Mad Max battle over this trailer because they put it in Muscle Man's brother's semi and they're just trying to get it to the border. We get cars crashing. We get a helicopter like dropping bombs down on everything. We get flaming arrows, just this awesome battle Mad Max scene with all these Mad Max junkyard people all trying to get that trailer. It's just so cool. They do car-like action scenes just so well in the show every time it's used. I love it so much, and this is a great example of that, one of the best examples of that. It's just so good. They just are destroying cars left and right. Everybody gets taken out, and then eventually Frank Jones jumps to the semi, and we just get this battle between Muscle Man and Frank Jones, fist fighting inside of the semi, and Muscle Man's all like, "Fine, you want my trailer? You could have it," and sends them both over the edge, and Frank Jones dies, and not before he goes to look at the trailer one last time. He takes a little peek at it, and it just says, "Gotcha, dude." And apparently the trailer was back at the park the entire time. It was all just a trick. Yeah. Don't mess with Muscle Man when it comes to like planning elaborate schemes that are kind of like pranks, because he will just go all out. Again, just a super good action episode. I noticed that season 4 just has so many great action scenes that are above just simple fistfights. Just so many cool, well thought out action scenes that I enjoy so much. And this was definitely one of them. Trailer Trash ranks pretty high, mainly just because of that super awesome Mad Max fight scene. Coming in at number 16 is the episode Carter and Briggs. And this episode is all about doing donuts. Yep, if you enter this donut competition, you get a chance to meet Carter and Briggs and be on a episode with them of Carter and Briggs. Yeah, this is crazy. Carter, Briggs, the two biggest television icons, the main reason I even watch regular show in the first place. Yeah, you could get a chance to be on their show. So Mordecai and Rigby enter the donut competition, and they have to learn how to actually do donuts, and we get this awesome montage with Muscle Man and High Five Ghost teaching them how to do donuts in the most epic way. And it would be up to Muscle Man creating the most mathematical, like logical equation to figure out how to do the best donut possible and teaching them. And it's honestly a really fun scene. I love watching them learn how to do better donuts and just learning how to keep the radius smaller and smaller and smaller, but they have to avoid a 0 turn radius because it's hypothetical and you'll spin yourself into a vortex. Yeah, crazy stuff, but I enjoy it so much because in this episode, everybody is just so down to help them win, because you just have Pops and Benson actually being helpful here. Like, Benson's only rule, you think he would be mad that they want to go and compete in this contest, but no, he just wants them to wear these shirts that say the park while they're on TV.
You wear these on TV if you win.
Wow.
That's awesome. You have Pops cheering them on. That's great. You have Skips just tuning up the cart, making it as good as possible for this awesome competition. Muscle Man and High Five Ghost obviously training them for this. Really cool. And then you have the actual contest part of the episode, which is also super awesome. They're just doing donut after donut against all these other competitors who are also doing donuts, and Mordecai and Rigby are just able to hold it better than them, do it better than them. And it's just so many great scenes, and it leads up to the climax, the final battle where they have to do donuts against these Carter and Brig wannabes who look really weird. I never really understood like people who go this far. Like, why not like be yourselves if you're Carter and Briggs fans, so that they actually get to meet you instead of wearing like literal basically cardboard skin masks of your favorite people. Either way, you know, love the people that you want to love and show it how you want, I guess. But either way, just a awesome climax and an awesome donut battle where Mordecai and Rigby have to spin in a 0 turn radius vortex, and they're able to out-survive the Carter and Briggs wannabes and do that ultimate donut and save it all and win the competition. Yes, and I really like the ending here where they're on TV and they're just acting like the most awkward people on the entire planet.
Crime is like a lizard's tail. It always...
It's so funny. It's so good. Such a great episode. Who would think that just, you know, spinning donuts would make for such a good episode of regular show, but it sure does, and it's definitely one of the best in season 4. At 15 is the episode Sleep Fighter, and has one of the best openings in all of regular show. Just Mordecai and Rigby just sleeping it up, just having some good dreams, and then Muscle Man just invades their room and just starts beating them up relentlessly for no reason. It's so funny.
Muscle
such a great way to open. And apparently he's been doing this to everybody because everybody shows up just covered in bruises, just freaking out. And I really like when he goes and attacks Benson, because Benson is initially like, well, he's attacking all of you guys, but I live in an apartment. This isn't my problem. And Muscle Man sleepwalks all the way to his apartment and just starts beating Benson. Oh, it's so funny. It's so good. So they have to figure out what's wrong with him, why he's attacking everybody in his sleep. So they tie him up and they're trying to analyze him, figure out what's going on. And they eventually figure out that it's these little creatures called Huxtable dolls. And Muscle Man apparently saw these in a commercial or a show one time when he was watching Starless Cousin's Kid, and he's terrified of them.
Why won't they stop hugging people?
He hates them, and I just love all the build up to this because Rigby has to wear a little bodysuit and just try to not get ravaged by Muscle Man while they're trying to figure out all of his sleep patterns and stuff. It's so funny.
The suit's not working!
It's so good. Poor Rigby. But overall, really good stuff. And that leads to the ultimate climax of the episode where they tie him up and they have to suck all of the Huxtables out of his nightmares and fight them all with dream catchers. Who would think that a dream catcher final battle would be so epic? But it is. They're using all these Dreamcatcher weapons, like literally a Dreamcatcher bow and arrow, Dreamcatcher swords, all of this cool stuff to fight all of the Huxtable dolls. And then there's just one giant Huxtable doll at the end that they have to beat. They lure it outside and they use a Dreamcatcher that skips his head under his car for some reason this entire time to launch off this ramp, suck him up, boom. Muscle Man is free from all of the Huxtable dolls, and it's such a good episode. The beginning of it is just so funny with Muscle Man going around attacking everybody, and then you just get an awesome battle with Dreamcatchers at the end. Such a good episode. And then number 14 is the episode One Pull-Up, and this episode has a pretty good beginning with everybody just doing a little bit of a fitness test. Everybody's passing, everybody's doing good, everybody has to pass it in order to keep their jobs and prove that they are physically fit enough to work at the park. And they eventually get to the final task, one pull-up. You just got to do one pull-up. Everybody goes, just boom, easy. Just one pull-up, everybody can do it, and then it gets to Rigby, who can't even remotely do it. So, Rigby gets a certain amount of time to figure out how to do a pull-up or he's going to get fired. And he's just struggling immensely. I really like his initial way of training for the pull-up, which includes eating a bag of chips and playing a workout video game.
Carbo loading!
Yeah, man. That's gonna work real good. And so he just keeps on getting worried and worried until he eventually has to go to Eileen because he just doesn't know what to do. And just, it's a great episode for Rigby and Eileen bonding. I enjoy it a lot because Eileen just like stops being, you know, that nerdy waitress here and just shows him that she is a badass and just able to do multiple pull-ups and is all like, yeah, I was on the prep squad and can do tons of pull-ups, workouts. So it's up to Eileen to train Rigby to do this pull-up. And she actually does a great job and almost gets him to be able to do it. We get a montage with them training together and Rigby gets so close, but he can't do it. So he goes home defeated, but he sees an ad for the Russian, a thing that will literally grow your muscles. And Rigby buys this and he's like, oh yeah, this is gonna do me so good. And so he uses it, but he forgets to turn it off, leaves it on all night. And when he wakes up, he is, as close enough the show would put it, a absolute unit. He's just a giant beef muscle man, just beefy man.
It worked!
What did you do?
I used the Russian to get totally ripped!
And he literally can't even walk because his muscles are so big. So Eileen has to coach him one more time to get out there and go do that pull-up. And he's literally running with his fists just clashing into the ground. He gets all the way there, but he literally sinks because his weight is just too much when he grabs the pull-up bar. So he has to just dig deep and envision himself doing that pull-up one more time. He's able to climb all the way up, do that pull-up, boom. Good stuff, and Eileen gets a hug from Rigby for the first time in the series right after this, and it was totally worth it even though she gets her spine crushed. Overall, a really good episode. They turned the concept of Rigby being weak and not being able to do a pull-up into such a crazy regular show episode. I mean, I did not think that it was going to go to this length of making Rigby just a giant mass monster in the end, but it works really well and it's really funny and I enjoy it a lot. All the stuff with Rigby and Eileen bonding is also really fun, and it just makes for a pretty good episode. And coming in at number 13 scene is the episode Blind Trust, and I just love the opening of this episode where it's just Mordecai and Rigby doing the most simple tasks, but Benson will not let them do that because he doesn't trust them to complete it, and this makes Pops go, "Oh, this will not work for me," and he takes them out into the woods to do a blind trust exercise, where Benson has to be blinded and just trust Mordecai and Rigby to do anything, and I love the first exercise they do here, which is just a simple trust fall backwards, and Mordecai and Rigby are just sitting there, smiles on their faces, arms open wide, and Benson just still can't do it. It's just so funny.
All right, fine. I can't do it.
Because he doesn't trust them. So Pops is all like, well, I'm gonna leave you on top of this giant mountain, and you have to guide Benson down while he's wearing a blindfold. And so they're trying to do all these trust exercises, and Benson falls, so he's like, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm leaving. And he takes off his blindfold and he walks into a beehive, so he gets stung in the eyes, so he's actually going to be blind for the entire episode.
It's not gonna happen.
And he doesn't have a choice about it. And eventually it gets all the way to nighttime, and this is where stuff starts getting a little bit crazy and super awesome. And this leads to all of them walking around at night, and Benson accidentally messes with some rocks on an ancient animal burial ground because we need that regular show spicier, and it just gets so crazy from there because holy moose, a giant spirit animal moose comes out from this ground, and he just unleashes all of the spirit animals on them to attack them and kill them for coming into this forest.
Children of the living, you belong not in this realm.
And it's just so crazy. They start running away from all these animals, and they eventually fall down into a ravine, and Mordecai breaks both of his arms, and Rigby swallows some poison ivy so he can't talk anymore. And then luckily for them, there's conveniently a piece of rope just sitting right there that they could tie all of their bodies around. So Benson is going to be the legs, Rigby is going to be the arms, and Mordecai is going to be the voice, and they have to combine themselves. And first of all, I would just like to point out, how is Benson able to carry this giant blue jay who is bigger than him and Rigby and move this damn efficiently?
Trust me!
I mean, he's literally doing backflips in this episode while they're running away from all of these animals. And I will say this getaway from all of the animals is just so awesome. Even though if, you know, they physically shouldn't be able to do this, I don't know how they are. I mean, they're just doing so many different feats. Like, they're telling Benson to backflip, to jump, do all these crazy running moves. Well, he literally can't see. It's crazy. Rigby is able to stretch his arms and just swing them like a chimp, even though he's holding up Benson and Mordecai. I don't know how Rigby can do that. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm just going to ignore their feats of strength here and just enjoy it for what it is, but they're just dodging piranhas, they're dodging bears, they're dodging wolves, they're dodging every single thing that this forest is throwing at them, and it's just so cool. It's such a great scene, and I just love it so much. They eventually get out of the forest, and they just are falling all the way down this super awful cliff, and the Moose Man is all like, well, I know I was trying to kill you, but I respect your ability to be compatible and work together so much that if you survive this fall, you may leave the forest. What's the point of that? I thought he was going to save them at the end, but he doesn't. But they save themselves, and boom, they learn to trust each other. Such a good episode. It's just so much fun. Just all the stuff with Benson's interactions with Mordecai and Rigby, hating them at the first and then just being forced to trust them at the end. It's just so good. And just all of the spirit animals are honestly really cool. I'm glad they decided to do these weird green spirit animals instead of just making all these random forest creatures hate them for no reason. I don't know. Just found this one super enjoyable. There's a lot to like about it. Definitely one I would rewatch a lot. And coming in at number 12 is the episode Limousine Lunchtime. And in this episode, Mordecai and Rigby are tasked with cleaning Mr. Maylord's limo, waxing it, making it look incredible. Benson even takes the keys away from them to make sure that nothing bad could possibly happen, but he did not account for something. Limousine lunchtime! Mordecai and Rigby go in there to have meatball subs for lunch, and what do you think happens? Bad things happen. Rigby goes to take a bite of his meatball sub. One of the meatballs falls out. Boom, lands on the seat. There's meatball everywhere. And Rigby panics and he's all like, oh, I can fix this. Goes to grab the meatball. It squirts up into Mordecai's eye.
Oh, my eyeball!
Yeah, so Mordecai drops his meatball sub, Rigby drops his, and now they got a big old meatball mess. So Rigby tries to fix it by using some cleaning equipment. It does absolutely nothing, and Rigby just starts freaking out because he gets sauce on his hands, and then on his feet, and then literally everywhere because he just starts going like this.
I had it on me!
Dude, stop moving!
everywhere. Yeah, I don't know why you decided to do that in this episode, but either way, it was really funny the way it all unfolded, and now there's meatball sub literally everywhere in this limo, so they gotta stealthily take the limousine keys away from Benson and drive to a guy that might be able to fix it, and in the process of attempting to get it fixed, they destroy it even more. So they have to get a brand new limo, and the only way to do that is to enter the Limo Demolition Derby, where the winner gets a brand new white stallion limo. And the Limo Demolition Derby is honestly a lot of fun because the limo that they have comes equipped with so many different weapons, and all the other limos have some weapons. It's just all so good. Who would think that limos just battling in a demolition derby could be so much fun? But it is, taking them out with machine guns, just destroying cars left and right with missiles. It's all so good. They're able to win the demolition derby, but they eventually have to fight the final boss, Limosaurus, a giant dinosaur made out of limos, and it's all just so cool. It's just so regular show. They honestly could have went with just making the episode just limos battling, but then they have to throw in a giant dinosaur made out of limos, and I just love it so much. We get this awesome final climactic battle between Mordecai and Rigby in their limo and Limosaurus. They're able to trip it, they're able to throw meatball sub in its eyeball, and they eventually shoot a giant missile at its head. And they win the white stallion. It's just so good. Such a great action scene in this episode with limos. I love it so much. Limosaurus is such a funny concept. All of the stuff with the meatball sub shenanigans was really good. And then you just get the climax with that awesome epic battle that makes such a good episode. Limousine Lunchtime earns the number 12 spot. And coming in at number 11 is the episode World's Best Boss. And in this episode, it's Benson's anniversary at the park, so they all want to get him something super special to show him that they care about him and show him that he's a great boss. I honestly think Thomas had the best idea for a gift here.
A box of
glow-in-the-dark business tie.
a box of pens.
But either way, they decide that they're going to get him a World's Best Boss mug. The only problem, there's none anywhere. They go to a bunch of different stores and none of them have it. And even the one that does have it, they get in this awesome brawl with this one guy and they end up destroying the mug.
Oh, I got it.
And it's just so cool. I love it so much. Such a great opening to this episode with all these great jokes, all this good stuff. I mean, even Muscle Man just showing Mordecai and Rigby all of the like mugs that have butts.
Hey, Rigby.
Yeah, really funny stuff, really good, really solid opening to the episode, and then they eventually find one of the mugs online. So they decide to buy it, and a really giant box shows up, and they're thinking, that's a little bit odd, and a man comes out of it, punches Pops in the face.
You will be so delighted when...
Boss!
And is all like... because he's got the world's best boss mug in hand, and he's all like, if you want to be the world's best boss, you better be prepared to meet the world's best boss. And he just sends all of his lackeys, all of his employees to just start murdering our people at the park just because they wanted a mug that says world's best boss on it, and they're just all getting destroyed.
And you stay later than anyone else.
They're just all getting their asses beat by this world's best boss guy's employees until Benson shows up and they all start kicking their ass because Benson is a good boss and shows them how to beat some ass. And it's just all so good. Such a good fight scene. I love it so much. And it ends with Benson just being the world's best boss guy, and he falls into the truck and he goes off a ramp and literally dies. Perfect ending to this episode. I always like episodes of Regular Show where it's all about, you know, everybody coming together for one big task to show appreciation for someone. And in this case, it was Benson, who definitely deserves it. And I'm glad that season 4 is where we start getting all these episodes that are just Benson appreciation moments. It's just not, I don't think I've talked about a single episode where Benson was just being evil, being a villain. He's just a character in the show now that you could appreciate, that you could like, who sometimes just gets a little bit angry, and that's completely fair. And so yeah, overall, very good episode. Lots of good fights, lots of good comedy and a great just Benson appreciation episode. Coming in at number 10 is the episode The Last Laserdisc Player, and when Muscleman, Mordecai Rigby, and High Five Ghost all stumble upon a Laserdisc, they're like, whoa, this is a super cool movie, we need a Laserdisc player to watch this right now. So they go to the library because the library has things, and they talk to this guy, and they're all like, we need a Laserdisc player because we have a Laserdisc, and this is when it's revealed that they are the Disc Masters, the chosen ones, who are going to help with the format wars. And I really like their reaction to this, where they just like shrug it off because they're honestly just tired and deal with like weird shit happening all the time, so they're honestly just sick of it, but they go along with it because they just want to watch the damn movie, and it just gets progressively crazier from there because the VHS people are after the last Laserdisc player because there's this giant format war going on between VHS and the last Laserdisc player and the Laserdiscs. It's all just so cool. Apparently there's just been this order of people trying to protect it for generations, and it's down to this last guy protecting the last Laserdisc player, the guardian of it, and it's really crazy. It's just such an interesting concept. I always wondered if J.G. Quintel was like against like, you know, the future of like technology, and he liked things just being old and retro, because it definitely feels like it, because every single new format that they introduce, it seems like they become a villain. Yeah, very interesting. But either way, it all culminates when we eventually get this ultimate battle at the end between VHS and Laserdisc, and this like giant Laserdisc monster dude who's like a statue and is able to erase things.
Hey, try!
And there's also all these like retro guys who are on our side and are fighting against him. Some of them get erased. They're all trying their best. It's a super cool battle, and they're all just using machine guns. They're fighting. They're trying to hide it out, trying to survive. And eventually that dude that was guarding the last Laserdisc player, he has like an anime transformation into this giant glowing crystal yellow dude. And he's able to literally like zombies Wonder Waff shock people with the eyes, like just out of nowhere. He's able to scream and destroy people's heads. Just this insane battle. And he's able to destroy this VHS ultimate guy who's like a VHS recorder. But either way, that's it. They defeat the VHS army and they go to watch the movie. And they're like, wow, the picture's really good. That's great. Good episode. Solid episode. Really good fights. Very interesting concept. And yeah, overall good. And coming in at number 9 is the episode TGI Tuesday. And you know what the problem with this episode is? I mean, who throws a party on a Tuesday? And everybody in this episode would agree with me. You can't throw a party on a Tuesday.
No! Ain't nobody in this town gonna hold a party on a Tuesday. You hear me? Nobody! Ah!
But Mordecai is determined to do this, to throw a going away party for Margaret, because Margaret is going away to look at all this different stuff about college. I think it's always about college. But either way, he's trying to throw this awesome party for her because he cares about her and wants to show that. So we get TGI Tuesday. And it's all about them getting this ballroom together, trying to have this massive party. And I really like the introduction to this where Benson is showing it off to them. And Benson says, you know, some great things about balls here.
Oh, were they big?
These balls were huge.
Yeah, it's really funny stuff. And they're just trying to clean it over and over again. Mordecai, Rigby, and Eileen, they just keep on cleaning it. And for some reason, it just keeps getting dirty again. And it turns out to actually be haunted when these 3 ghosts show up. And they're all from like the 70s or 80s. And they challenge them to a dance battle. And whoever wins can have the ballroom if they're able to defeat these 3 ghosts. And it's actually a lot of fun. They just all start busting out some sick moves. Mordecai busts out the robot, Rigby does some good moves, Eileen does some good moves, they're all dancing it up, and then we get the ultimate dance battle where it's just Ballroom Blitz playing in the background. Just a ballroom blitz as they're all doing some awesome moves against all these guys who all do the same exact move, but hey, they're jamming, they're dancing, they're all doing good. Just such a cool dance battle with so many good visuals. I love it so much. I love watching everybody get to dance it up. And eventually it's revealed that these ghosts all died partying in this ballroom, and they just partied so much that they didn't even get to do the task that they wanted to do, which was to say goodbye to Charlene. But yeah, they have this big old realization, and they talk to Mordecai about how important this girl is, so they decide to help him. They clean the ballroom, all of the people show up for the party, and Mordecai gets to dance with Margaret. Perfect ending for Mordecai. He gets a win here. Mordecai gets a lot of wins with Margaret in this season. I mean, one of his biggest losses, but hey, I mean, lot of wins. I'll take it for Mordecai because usually he just fails at this stuff. And this episode overall is just a lot of fun, mainly because of that giant dance battle in the entire middle of it. Just so good. And at number 8 is the episode Skip Stress. And this episode is honestly really ominous, mainly for the concept. Just stress taking this form of like this black gunk that slowly crawls up your body, infecting your heart, infecting your mind, and slowly killing you is honestly terrifying. And this is all happening to Skips. Skips in the episode is being really overworked because he always has to fix everything. He has to do so many hard jobs, and it's just taking a toll on him. And they eventually all go to lunch. Skips doesn't even want to be there because he's just that stressed. He doesn't even want to eat. It's really bad. And he eventually takes a stress test machine, and a doctor sprints out because it's just crazy results that Skips is going to die if he doesn't start to take it easy. And Skips just doesn't even know how to do this, even though he has one of the scariest nightmares in the entire show with all of this weird stress stuff and everybody just being super weird in the episode. Even Muscle Man has like weird grotesque hair and the stress is just taking a form and he has to ring the bell.
Bro, ring the bell, Skips. Ring the bell.
Yeah, it's a really weird, scary dream. I did not like it. I did not enjoy that. I mean, it's visually pretty awesome, but overall just kind of creepy. But either way, Skips tries to go to work the next day, and he's like, I could do it, and Benson just starts reading out his jobs, and he just collapses, and we just get this visual of the black gunk progressing into his heart, and I didn't like that either. That was also very creepy and very terrifying. And Skips is eventually like, okay, this has gotten a bit too far, and we have to go all the way to Asia and ring this bell on top of this mountain to get rid of all of my stress. So Mordecai, Rigby, Benson, Skips, and Pops all go to ring this bell in Asia in order to get rid of Skips' stress. They're all there. Skips even pulls out an awesome katana, and he's going to ring that bell, and the only rule is, keep your ears closed. And who doesn't keep their ears plugged? Rigby. Of course it's Rigby. It's always Rigby. And this causes everyone's stress to all form in this one giant stress monster with all of their heads. And everyone has to battle each of their heads and destroy them in order to get rid of everybody's stress. And this fight scene is just so awesome. You have everybody contributing in their own way. You have Benson with a hammer. You have Mordecai fighting with a sword. You have Skips fighting with a sword. Everybody's just doing their own thing in this awesome battle. Skips looks like a badass. Every single character gets their moment here, and I love it so much. It's such a cool fight scene, and it has such a good ending with Skips putting a spear to the final head. It's just so good. Skips' stress is gone. Awesome episode. Such a honestly terrifying concept at the beginning with all of the stress just slowly taking over his body, and they finish it off so well with that awesome fight scene to make one of the best episodes in the entire series. And coming in at number 7 is the episode Sandwich of Death, and this episode is just another action-packed episode. Something I'm noticing about season 4, so many episodes with so many different fight scenes, just so much action, like way more than the past seasons. I feel like I definitely did not have to talk about this many fight scenes, but woo, we just keep on going. This episode is all about Mordecai and Rigby going to the Death Kwon Do restaurant to get a death sandwich, and they meet the guy that they stole all the pages from, and he's all like, you guys disgraced me, but I need business, so of course you guys can have a sandwich, and they take the death sandwich back with them. But the only way to eat the death sandwich is to have a mullet and be wearing the ripped jean shorts, because you have to eat it like you're from a Death Kwon Do class. You have to know the ways of Death Kwon Do or it's going to kill you. And they leave for a second to go change, and Benson, he sees their food on the table and he's like, oh, you silly boys, it's about time you learn a thing or two about stealing someone's food. And he tries to eat the death sandwich, and he turns green, and he starts dying in this entire scene where they find him, and he's all like, why did you try and eat our sandwich? He's all like, why would you buy a sandwich that kills people?
Which death sandwich? Why would you buy something that kills people?
Why would you eat somebody's sandwich?
It's so funny. It's so good. So they got to go to the sensei at the Death Kwon Do restaurant, and they got to be all like, okay, can you help us? And he's like, well, I guess so. And so they have to go to the Death Kwon Do headquarters, and they have to fight their way up to get the sandwich of life from the Grand Master Sensei there. And it's just so cool. We get so many different fight scenes here. Just in so many different ways with so many different weapons against so many different types of characters. It's all so cool. I love it so much. Just fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. I just love it as they progress all the way up to the top of this mountain to find the Grandmaster Sensei, and they have to fight against him, who just honestly just kicking their ass. Like, it's clear why he is the best at Death Kwon Do, because he's just destroying Mordecai and Rigby like really bad. Just taking them out like crazy. They literally can't even do anything to them, but luckily the sensei is able to send them a last minute note, and they're able to bicycle drop kick the double death sandwich back into the dude's mouth and kill the Grandmaster Sensei. After this awesome battle, and give Benson the sandwich of life, and there you go, Benson saved in a great episode. I feel like the majority of these episodes I'm just praising them for all of the action scenes, and it's just because, I mean, there's so much. None of these episodes are dull because there's just so much action, so much entertainment, so much stuff to look at, and I love it, and this is definitely one of the best action-packed episodes in the show. At number 6 is the episode Fool Me Twice, and in this episode, Mordecai and Rigby are addicted to this Japanese game show called Fool Me Twice, and they learn that they could potentially win a spot to compete on the show for real if they call this number first. So they're super excited, and Benson just does not want this to happen at all because he doesn't want them to go on this game show. So that's what the beginning of the episode is, just trying to avoid Benson, trying to be able to go on this game show, and eventually Benson, Mordecai, and Rigby all get sucked through this phone line all the way to Japan to compete on this game show. And of course, it's a Mordecai, Rigby, and Benson episode once again, so you just know it's going to be good, and it does not disappoint. The game show begins with them accidentally fooling the game show host twice, like not even trying to. It's so good, it's so funny.
No! We weren't even trying to fool you!
But I thought you were.
This makes no sense!
And they have to compete in the Baka Blitz, which is just a giant like game show challenge where they just have to do this giant obstacle course with all these different challenges. And Mordecai and Rigby are pretty confident because, I mean, if they lose, they'll just get punched in the face, but it's TV, so it's not going to actually hurt, right? And that's when we get just this awesome montage where they just cut to a just trailer of every single punch and a guy who is the only person that survived being punched by the show host, and his face is just completely and utterly mangled, and we just get to see all these people getting punched, and all of them died because, again, there's only one guy that survived. Yeah, so the stakes are pretty high here.
How does it feel to be the only contestant who didn't die?
Mordecai and Rigby are really scared, but Benson seems pretty confident now, and they're going to go and do this awesome obstacle course, and I really enjoy this a lot because the entire time it's just Benson destroying this obstacle course, doing so good, even though he was the one who didn't even want to do this, and Mordecai and Rigby are just getting tortured the entire time.
I want to go home.
And normally I'm not a fan of torture episodes, but when it's like this, when it's on a obstacle course, gives me like Wipeout vibes. It's so good. I love watching them get tortured in this episode because it's just so funny. And they eventually get all the way to the final part, the climax of it all, just a giant lava bridge with like these swinging things. It's like basically like a Mario level at this point. They just got to get all the way to the end and not get knocked into the lava. The only problem is as they're doing this final challenge, the show host shows up and he's like, "Oh, my hand has gone far too long without punching a face," and he reveals it, and it's just a ginormous hand, because apparently if he doesn't punch someone just in a like literal 30-minute time span, it just grows and starts urging. It's like an addiction for him. He just can't handle it, and so he's trying to punch them with his just colossal hand, and Benson is able to fool him one more time, which means he got fooled 3 times. So his fist turns on him, punches him in the face, and he falls into the lava.
Oh, you fooled me 3 times! No!
And Mordecai, Rigby, and Benson get to the end, and they get to win the mystery prize. What could it be? It's a clipboard or a trip to space camp. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad, I guess, but either way, they go to space camp, and Benson is having the time of his life. Mordecai and Rigby don't like it anymore, but hey, Benson had a good time.
Yeah, but...
I'm having the time of my life!
Please help us.
It's a Benson win episode, and overall it's just so good. Again, Mordecai, Rigby, and Benson episodes just always hit so good, especially when they're at least semi on the same side. This did a great blend of, you know, Benson being mad at them, but also like helping them, understanding them, teaching them, and just having a good time with them, and they just all work off each other so well to just create create such a good comedic and semi-action packed episode that's just so good. The entire obstacle course was a lot of fun, and even the evil game show host, he was a lot of fun too. It just makes a great episode. Definitely one of the best.
This means I have failed. Gomenasai, Shinohara-senpai.
And coming in at number 5 is the episode A Bunch of Full-Grown Geese, and this episode is just so funny, mainly because these geese are just menaces. I really love the opening of this episode. Mordecai, Rigby, and Pops just all wanting to eat this meaty sandwich, and then these geese show up and just start wreaking havoc, punching a squirrel, throwing a rock at a boat. They're just menaces. They even like chest bump. They're literal just like college douchebags. That's the embodiment of them. They're just assholes. They're marking their territory. And oh god, I love Pops. He runs over and he's like, "Hey, oh you ruffians, what are you doing in my park?" And then they just start shoving him. He just beating.
Now I'm afraid.
God Pops, and it's so funny. And then they just start beating on Mordecai and Rigby, and then they have to go to Benson, and they're like, "Benson, you gotta do something about these geese, man." And Benson's like, "Well, lucky for you guys, I have just the guys who can deal with a problem like this." And, you know, he's referring to Mordecai and Rigby. So Mordecai and Rigby have to figure out how to get rid of this geese, and they try their best to figure it out, and nothing works because these geese are just pure evil. They just cause so much chaos, but it's so funny.
Ready!
And they eventually have to call the baby ducks to come and help out. Yes, it's the return of the baby ducks, and the baby ducks show up to fight the geese. They pump their fists, turning into this giant buff duck man. But that's when we learn that the geese can do the same thing, turning into a 4-headed goose monster, and their brawl begins. But the geese have a pretty big one-up on them because they can literally shoot lasers and fire missiles, so they're just dominating our big buff duck man, destroying them until Mordecai and Rigby also pump their fists into the air and join forces with our big buff duck man and just start taking them on. And it's just so cool. It's such a good fight scene. Definitely one of the best in the series. Every single episode I've talked about in the top 10 is usually some crazy action-packed scene to end the episode, and this is definitely one of the best. Just this entire ending scene where they just become this like ultimate version of Mordecai and Rigby and the baby ducks. It's so cool. They use a giant sword to slice the geese apart, and then they do the ultimate step off, murdering the geese, or murdering because the geese eventually come back. But either way, pretty crazy. Epic finale, epic battle. Such a good episode with such a good beginning. All the geese stuff in the beginning was hilarious, and it's just topped off with the cherry of this awesome action-packed ending. And coming in at number 4 is the episode 150 Piece Kit, and I feel like I love this episode so much just because it makes Benson so awesome. If there's any season that just made Benson go from being a character that was just, you know, the mean boss, it would definitely be this season, because Benson is just a highlight of the season of just being so cool all the time. I love this guy. I mean, I always love this guy, but season 4 is where he's really coming into his own. I mean, we got season 3 Busted Cart where he's just sad, and you know, we get to see him for the first time as a actual human being. But this episode, they really let him shine and actually start being a character that is more than just a mean boss, and 150 Piece Kit highlights that so well. This episode is all about Heir to the Throne coming into town, coming to the park to play a concert, and little did we know that Benson used to be in Heir to the Throne, a concert that is iconic for having a lot of hair. I mean, a band that is iconic for having a lot of hair. And Benson used to have a lot of hair. He used to play the most intense drum solo of all time, but nobody believes him. They say that only this robot, the Drumatron VI, could play that, and they even make fun of Benson for being bald.
Oi, what happened to your hair, Benson? It's hereditary!
They just don't want to let Benson believe that he could ever have done this, and none of his friends even believe Benson either. So it's up to Benson to get his entire drum kit out of the storage, all 150 pieces of his 150 piece kit, to play that drum solo and show everybody that they're wrong. And I love the entire ending sequence of this episode when Benson was abandoned, when he was all alone. He still manages to set up this concert and get it going and take over this entire Heir to the Throne concert. And it's just so cool. His entire introduction, where his entire set just lifts from the ground and you get to see all of these different forms of drums, some of which I had never even seen before. It's just all so cool. He starts playing it and everybody realizes, oh, hey, he was telling the truth. Maybe we should, help out our friend that we've been friends with for many years instead of trusting these random people that we just met.
Stop him!
So we get a fight scene between everybody and Heir to the Throne, and Benson just playing that solo, and the robot tries to stop him, and he just keeps on avoiding him because Benson is playing every single drum imaginable, riding on a skateboard playing drums. He eventually gets in this roll cage that ascends into the sky, and he just starts playing this drum, and it literally catches his skeleton on fire. As the robot is on top of him, the robot burns. Benson's entire skeleton is engulfed in flames as he's just playing this drum solo. It's all so epic. It's all so cool, and he finishes it off by slamming a giant metal clasp down into the ground, ending the 150-piece kit in just one of the coolest scenes in the entire show that just makes Benson so badass. It's just so good. It's so awesome. It makes Benson seem like $1,000,000, one of the best characters in the entire show, and it works so well. I am genuinely so glad that season 4 just had so much love for Benson, and this entire episode just feels like it was made to make Benson cool. It was made to make a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old or a 10-year-old, whatever age you were, look at Benson and be like, that was so awesome, and it achieves this goal in such an amazing way. That's why it's number 4, one of the best episodes of season 4. And coming in at number 3 is the episode Guys Night, and this episode is just such a vibe. I love the beginning of it where everybody just stares at their watches, sees that it's 6 p.m., and all of a sudden it's Guys Night! Guys Night! And everybody just runs to the house to have such a great time. They're eating chips, they're eating food, they're just eating junk food, having a good time. They're playing video games, they're watching movies, they're looking at magazines, they're ordering pizza. They're just having such a great time. It just looks like so much fun. I enjoy watching it so much. I can honestly take an episode of just them enjoying themselves, having a good time just like that. And then eventually, Pops shows up and he's all like, "Oh, what are you doing? Can I join you? Chanting, chanting." Because he wants to be one of the guys. And they're all like, "Well, Pops, you can't just be one of the guys, you have to become one of the guys." And he's all like, "Oh, well, how does one become one of the guys?" And they're just like, well, the best way would be to complete a food challenge. All of us have already completed something like that. And so Pops is like, "Well, what could I do?" And they're all like, "Milk challenge." And as the guy, as the man Kaulos, I could respect that so much. I feel like I could maybe do this because God, do I love milk. Milk is the best drink on the entire planet. You might find me gross, but I'm literally Kaulos. What do you expect from me? I'll drink from the udders if I have to. I love dairy. I love it so much. It's so good. Okay, but either way, on to other dairy matters. Pops has to try and drink an entire gallon of milk and lift it above his head in 1 hour, and we just get so many different scenes of him, first of all, trying to chug an entire gallon just on its own, and this eventually leads to, him getting really sick. And then he just keeps on trying over and over and over again, trying to do shots of milk, just trying all these different ways to drink all of the milk, and none of it's really working, and he just keeps getting progressively sicker. And they're just like, "Well, Pops, you tried your best," but Pops just goes up to bed. He's just crying. He's just sad. He's just like, "Oh, bad show indeed." And he's just reading this book about how everybody has completed their own version of a food challenge. And he gets hopeful. He's like, "I can do this." And he goes down there for one final go, drinks all of it, and right before he could raise it above his head, he's sucked into the milk dimension.
Pops?
Yeah, very weird. And there's these weird milk people everywhere, and they're offering him milk. And they eventually get to this room where there's all of these other people who completed the milk challenge. But Pops reveals that, technically nobody here completed the challenge because they didn't lift it above their head. So this makes one of the guys start tweaking out, and he's like, "Why are we here? Why am I here? We beat the challenge, right?" And starts slapping milk out of one of their milk cans. And yeah, Fair, I'd probably want to eat him too if he wasted that sweet succulent dairy. What's wrong with you? Why would you waste a cup of milk? This makes all the little guys take off their masks, and they all reveal their very sharp teeth and start trying to eat them all and convert them into giant milk people. Why did they do this? I don't know. We'll never know. I don't understand it, but either way, it's very entertaining. They try to run out of there. They all escape except for, just a few of them. They make it out of there, and Pops is able to come back to life, raise it above his head, complete the milk challenge, and he is one of the guys. And yeah, that's the entire episode. It's all so good. It's so funny. I really love the beginning of it. Again, it's just such a vibe. All of the chants they're doing. And even when Pops goes unconscious and goes into the milk world, Muscle Man's all like 911, 911,
911, 911.
It's so good. It's so funny. It's definitely one of my favorite episodes in the entire series, even though it's not like the craziest thing in the entire world. But I mean, come on. I like dairy, I like Guys Night, and I like a weird milk dimension. What else do you need? And coming in at number 2 is the episode The Christmas Special, and this is one of the best Christmas episodes just in any television show I've ever seen. It's just so good from beginning to end. I mean, the opening just hooks you right away with one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen, with Santa Claus chasing down this masked man who has apparently stolen all of the reindeer and this mysterious Christmas box, and we just get this awesome fight between Quilgan the elf and Santa. They're just fighting over this box, and then Santa literally gets shot. Yeah. Can you think of a crazier way to open a Christmas episode? He gets shot, but he manages to grab the box from Quilgan, and he falls all the way down. And whose garage does he land in? Skip's. Yep, he lands in Skip's garage. And Mordecai and Rigby are at this Christmas party, and they get sent to go and get sodas as a Christmas gift to Benson, because they're just, not the best co-workers in the world. But either way, they get sent there to go and get the sodas, and they eventually stumble upon Santa. And even Santa's a little bit sad about this. He's just like, oh, you two? Oh, of all the garages. And he has to trust in Mordecai and Rigby to take this box and destroy it at all costs. And they don't believe him at first. They're very confused by this. And while he tells them exactly the letters that they used to write to Santa about the hoverboards and the invisibility cloak.
Dear Santa, dude, give me an invisibility cloak. Santa, dude, don't be a jerk.
So they would want. Yeah, it's really funny. I like it so much. I love the way that they portrayed Santa in this. He's just not that jolly, good guy. He's just kind of rugged. He's just kind of a badass. I enjoy that a lot. And Mordecai and Rigby take this on, and they eventually go back to all the other park guys and take them over back to the garage to show them Santa, and Santa has mysteriously vanished. And they eventually learn that this box is very serious, because if you look into it, you can get whatever you want. Anything. But it also makes you have a dark craving for this power, because it was made with dark magic by Quilgan the elf, and Santa didn't like this because of the dark magic, because of the effects that it had on people. If you looked into this box, you would just have a lust for power. You would need this box more than anything. You would need it because you need whatever the box can give you, and it would just make you turn on your family. It was horrible, and it wouldn't work, so Santa had to destroy it. He destroyed all the work, but Quillian escaped with one box, and that's where we are now, and everybody realizes the importance of this, so the episode just progresses, and they gotta get all the way to Jean's Park, to East Pines, because they apparently have a lava pit there. Yeah, very weird, but they have to go there to throw the box into lava and destroy it permanently. And I just love every single aspect of this entire episode. Them sneaking into East Pines and eventually getting caught super fast, Jean holding them hostage, and then just all of the tension where the door is getting smashed in, and it turns out to just be one of Jean's workers. But then we see Quilgan is actually hot on their trail and is just destroying everybody in the park, so Jean has to let them go and take them all the way to this lava pit. In order to actually get to the lava pit, they have to wrestle a bear. Yes, Pops wrestles a bear, and it's such a cool scene. I love it so much. Benson has to complete a pinball machine to unlock this bridge to start growing and icing over. Yeah, it's also super cool. Muscle Man has to do this super awesome breakdance and this death-defying weird thing with all these spikes. Yeah, that's also awesome. They eventually make it all the way down the lava pit, and Quilgan is already there, and he's just I used the stairs.
I used the stairs.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I loved that gag so much. And we just get this final battle because Quilligan is holding a gun to all of them. They have to slide the box over, and Mordecai and Rigby, they won't let Christmas end, so they have to charge him, and they jump him and jump into the lava pit while holding Quilligan. It's just so epic. It's so awesome. We have an amazing Christmas song in the background. It's so good. They're able to punch Quilligan, stop it all from happening, knock him into the lava, and use the hoverboards to get back out of there. Oh, it's just so good. I love it so much. Such an amazing episode. Mordecai and Rigby get their invisibility cloaks at the end. That tops it all off. And it's just, it's such a good Christmas special. Has everything you could possibly want out of a regular show episode. Just something so crazy happening. Quilligan is an amazing villain, definitely one of the best in all of regular show. His entire presence is so good. He is definitely one of the most intimidating characters in the show. The lengths he's willing to go to achieve it, his desire to destroy all of Christmas, it's just all so good. Quilligan's an amazing villain. So many good action scenes. The final battle with the Christmas song in the background. Mordecai and Rigby saving the day to protect Christmas at all costs. Santa is awesome in this. It's just so good. I love it so much. Definitely one of the best Christmas specials in just all of fiction. And coming in at number 1, the best episode in regular show season 4 has to be Exit 9B. Exit 9B was such a momentous occasion. It was so hyped up that it honestly should have been regular show the movie, the first one, and you could still have the second one later on, but this deserved an entire another hour to expand every single scene into just the most amazing television experience ever, because in 22 minutes, they managed to do so much to craft this perfect episode of regular show that I will truly never forget. I still remember all of the ads for this, all of the hype for this, and it was truly so worth it. The episode has such an incredible opening with this madman just chasing everybody down, shooting lasers at all of their heads, and Mordecai and Rigby are barely able to escape, and they go to the future. In this, we also get introduced to Thomas, the first new addition to the park crew in 4 seasons, which was also just so crazy. Then we cut to the future, Mordecai and Rigby are there, and there is a highway being built over the park in this strange portal. It's just such a crazy opening. The house is destroyed. All of this crazy stuff is going on. Who is this madman? What's going on? So Mordecai and Rigby have to go around and find all of the guys from the park to get them to sign this National Monument Declaration to show that the park is a national historical landmark, and that is the only way that they could possibly save the park. The only thing is that when this guy shot all of their brains, he scrambled them all, and he changed all of their memories, and they all work at different places, and it's just such a crazy concept. They find Skips first, and he's just a mechanic, and it's just such a tense scene when they try to get him to remember who he is, and they have to tell him about the woman that he loves as he's literally choking them to death.
Remember the only woman you ever loved?
Yeah. Crazy opening, and then we just get this awesome scene of them going around everywhere to make them get their memories back, just finding Pops and offering him a butterscotch ripple. They find Muscle Man, which is one of the best scenes in the entire episode.
Else's C equals 8?
Well, actually, yes, I do. It's my mom.
You know who else's C equals 8? Well, actually, yes, I do. It's my mom. It's so funny. It's so good. I love it so much. They just give High Five goes to High Five, and he remembers who he is. That one was kind of lazy, but I mean, hey, he barely does anything in the show anyway. And they eventually get all of their memories back except for Benson, because Benson is working at the park with this crazy guy. And so they all have to go there. They're trying their best, but they eventually get kidnapped, and they're all being placed inside of the highway on Exit 9B, and that's when we get the big reveal. Who is this madman? It's none other than Garrett Bobby Ferguson Jr. I was actually so pumped when this happened because Garrett Bobby Ferguson is probably my favorite villain in the entire show. And then you just have his son returning, opening a gateway to hell, and bringing back every single villain that they had faced up until this point. Tell me something is not more hype than that. Seeing every single villain, the deer, Night Owl, the blonde guys, Summertime Lovin', the phone guy, just so many different villains that were all iconic in the show, just all coming back for one amazing final battle against our guys. It was just so cool. And then they call in their army, and we get Tecmo, the babies, Death, and the basketball god, which isn't that much of an army, but hey. And we just get this awesome fight scene with them just running along the highway fighting all these different people, and it's just so good. Such an incredible fight scene from beginning to end. They eventually have to try and jog Benson's memory by ham boning, saying whoa, doing all this stuff. They get Benson to sign it, but it turns out that there's one park member that they still needed to get. Thomas, because he's a brand new park member, and we get Thomas's hero arc, the most important thing that he ever does in the series, splashing coffee on Garrett Bobby Ferguson Jr. and Garrett Bobby Ferguson and signing that document. And when Garrett Bobby Ferguson Jr. explodes, Garrett Bobby Ferguson Sr. explodes, they all explode, and hell is destroyed, and everything is fixed, back to normal. The park is a historical landmark. Oh god, it's just so good. It's such a good episode. That is just them getting their brains scrambled, them running away from Garrett Bobby Ferguson Jr., the final ultimate climactic battle, the emotional, impactful ending. It's all so good, it's all so epic, and it is one of the best episodes in all of Regular Show, and it is the best episode in Season 4, and you cannot convince me otherwise. And there you have it. That is every single episode of Regular Show Season 4 ranked from worst to best. And remember, this is just part 4 of my 9-part series of ranking every single episode in all of Regular Show. Still got plenty more to come. And honestly, for this season, I could see why people love this season so much, because it is just action-packed, so many comedic scenes, and there's only a couple of episodes that I would honestly say, I don't really feel like rewatching that again. So overall, an amazing season, and genuinely, thank you so much for watching, especially if you're listening at this final part. Most people just click off from my outros, but the people who stay, hey, I appreciate you, and you managed to watch I'm assuming, over an hour-and-a-half video, so hey, I appreciate you a lot. If you do want to support me a little bit more, I do have a channel membership now, to where it's just $3, and you get some really cool emojis and some really cool, like, badges next to your name, depending on how long you've been in the membership. Do not do that if you have any financial struggles, or if you struggle at all, if at any point in your day you're all like, oh, I don't really want to buy that because that costs too much. Do not get my channel membership. I mean that. Don't. Just, I don't need it. It's an incentive for me to create content more, and it helps me and it motivates me. But genuinely, do not give me any money unless you feel like, oh, I just have a surplus and I just want to support somebody. Like, if you're struggling at all, never give me money. Do not. Especially if you have like a kid or something. Buy your kid a candy or something. Do something nice for them. But do not give me your money unless you just want to. Just wanted to throw that option out there, because YouTube keeps telling me if you tell everybody about your membership, you might get more money. Like, yeah, that'd be cool. But don't do that unless you can. Just stick around for some fun Regular Show content. And yeah, I got lots of good stuff on the way. As I said in the post earlier, I am struggling a little bit with my BoJack and my Marceline video. I just want to get those right. That's why they're going to take a little bit longer. SpongeBob is also coming. It's just SpongeBob is 20 hours in Season 1. So ranking every single episode from that is going to take a while to gather all of that footage. So yeah, it might take a little bit longer on that. I do have more Regular Show videos in the works always, of course, because we love Regular Show around here. Just lots of good stuff on the way, and I appreciate all of you. Still can't believe we're at 10,000 subscribers. Gonna have my 10,000 subscribers special as well coming very soon. And yeah, I appreciate you all. This has been a very long outro here, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.